We have seen Jesus speaking to the multitude in parables, speaking in a way that would hopefully awaken repentance and lead to true life. Now, in chapter 15, Jesus speaks not a parable, but a prophecy to some scribes and Pharisees from Jerusalem in an effort to achieve the same thing: repentance and being made whole. Matthew 15, 1 through 9. Then the scribes and Pharisees who were from Jerusalem came to Jesus, saying, "Why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread." He answered and said to them, "Why do you also transgress the commandment of God because of your tradition? For God commanded, saying, 'Honor your father and your mother,' and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, 'Whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is a gift to God,' then he need not honor his father or mother. Thus, you have made the commandment of God of no effect by your tradition. Hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy about you, saying, 'These people draw near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men.' Well did Isaiah prophesy about you." Oh, friends, the disciples heard it, they saw it, and then they said to Jesus, "Don't you know the Pharisees were offended when they heard that?" Well, absolutely, Jesus knew that. He knew the Pharisees were disillusioned with him. And he is deliberately trying to trip up what they were believing. So, if you were one of those scribes or Pharisees, what would you do? Don't you know that at least one of them found that saying in the scrolls and examined it, consider it? Wouldn't you? Well, they found it. It's Isaiah 29. Verse 1 tells us it's a woe to Ariel. Friends, that's a symbolic name for Jerusalem. And Matthew 15, verse 1 specifically points out these scribes and Pharisees are from Jerusalem. Is that a coincidence? Absolutely not. Isaiah chapter 29, it's a woe. More than that, it's a call to pause and wonder to those who, Isaiah 29:9, have blinded themselves. Jesus said that about the Pharisees, Matthew 15:14. Isaiah 29:9 and 10, those who are drunk and staggering, but not with wine or intoxicating drink, but rather with the spirit of deep sleep. It's talking about spiritual paralysis. It's the same condition described in Isaiah 6, verses 9 and 10. Ears that don't hear, eyes that don't see, hearts that are dull. Like drunken men, lacking understanding, insensible to the danger they are in. That's Jesus' point in Matthew 15, verse 3. Isaiah 29:16, those who have turned things around. And Jesus clearly illustrated that to the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 15, verses 4 through 6. Isaiah 29:16 and Isaiah 49:5. That's a call to those who strive with his maker. Verse says, "Shall the thing formed say of him who formed it, he has no understanding?" Friends, that's exactly what the Pharisees are doing in Matthew 15, verse 2. Isaiah 29:20. Those who watch for iniquity. That's why the Pharisees came to Jesus, isn't it? Their intent, their purpose was to find reasons to accuse Jesus. God, through Isaiah, calls those people terrible ones, those who exalt themselves. He calls them scornful ones, mockers, who try to turn truth and righteousness into an object of contempt. Isaiah 29:21, those who make a man an offender by a word, lay a snare for him who reproves in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Friends, that's Matthew chapter 15, verses 1 through 4 in a nutshell, isn't it? Using the traditions, the commandments of men, the Pharisees were attempting to ensnare Jesus. They were rejecting Jesus. They were turning him aside by empty words. Isaiah summarizes the condition of his listeners. Isaiah 29:11 and 12, the whole vision has become to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one who is literate, saying, "Read this, please." And he says, "I cannot, for it is sealed." Then the book is delivered to one who is illiterate, saying, "Read this, please." And he says, "I am not literate." That's exactly the condition of the scribes and Pharisees in Matthew 15. They're so focused on the law, so focused on their traditions, they could not see the fulfillment of prophecy, scriptures, standing right in front of them. The whole vision, the vision that God was with them, was like the words of a book that is sealed. That brings us back to the words Jesus spoke to the Pharisees. Words pointing them to the prophet Isaiah, pointing them to more than a writing, pointing them to more than a saying. Rather, Jesus was pointing them to the heart of God and a revelation of God. Isaiah 29:13 and 14. Therefore, the Lord said, inasmuch as these people draw near with their mouths and honor me with their lips, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the commandment of men, therefore, behold, I will again do a marvelous work among this people, a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hidden. Do you hear that? God is going to make himself known with such marvelous works and wonders that even those with dull senses should not be able to mistake him. You have turned things around. Isaiah 29:17. Yet in a very little while there will be a fruitful turning. Isaiah 29:18 and 19. In that day the deaf shall hear, and the eyes of the blind shall see. The humble shall increase their joy in the Lord. The poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. That's the day of Matthew 15. The humble, well, that's the woman of Matthew 15, verses 21 through 28. The woman of Canaan, whose daughter was severely demon-possessed. The woman who cried out to Jesus. The woman who said to him, even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. A woman of faith, a woman whose daughter was healed from that very hour. Oh, the increased joy in the Lord that had to be hers. The deaf, the blind, well, that's the multitude in Matthew 15, verses 29 to 31. They came to Jesus with those who were lame, blind, mute, maimed, and many others. They laid them down at Jesus' feet, and he healed them. The poor, the needy, those who lack the resources to meet their basic needs. Well, friends, that's the 4,000 Jesus fed in Matthew 15, verses 32 through 39. All foreshadowings of Isaiah 29, all fulfilled in Jesus, Matthew chapter 15. Isaiah 29, Matthew 15. Oh, beautiful pictures of God the Father and God the Son, once more attempting to, as Isaiah 29 verse 24 says, bring those who erred in spirit to understanding, and those who murmured to learn doctrine, to choose rightly in the light of God's revelation and receive his divine gift designed to be taken into their hearts. God is with us. Do our eyes see? Do our ears hear? Do our hearts understand? Have we received his divine gift? Do we choose rightly?